Hello, today is Thursday, August the 17th, 2023. I have just read an article about how to make whiskey out of rice. Like rice becomes shochu, and shochu is aged in an oak barrel for 2 years, and it becomes whiskey. So speaking of whiskey and the rice, and ancient guys, like Asian guys, I just randomly pulled up this article by South China Morning Post, or SCMP, the famous English newspaper produced in Hong Kong. So I would like to read this article, believing that it's of high quality, of quite an interest, of quite good source of information. And also, I am trying to read this article to practice English. By reading it aloud and reading it fast, I could focus on the old cliches that I remember, and also new words and expressions that I should remember. And It's quite good feeling when you read something aloud. So it's a dual-pronged approach on my part. Big thanks to scmp.com and also all the listeners, audiences out there who try to listen to this article, listen to me reading this article for you. So here we go. South China Morning Post. Snow Goose Rice Whiskey. Food and drink. Not food and drinks, but food and drink. Not foods and drinks. It's just all singular, food and drink. The rice whiskey made in Canada by a Chinese microbiologist. Mineral Ding is convinced. What? His name is Mineral Ding. Ding dong, ding dong. Mineral Ding. I thought General Ding, but Mineral Ding. Mineral Ding is convinced that rice is better than wheat, barley, rye, or corn for making whiskey. And with his Snow Goose brand, he intends to prove it. Interesting. Usually, whiskey is made from wheat, barley, corn, and rye. Now, rice. Japanese tinkered with rice shochu to make whiskey. His mother's family used to run a business making rice wines and liquors in China until 1949, when the communists took over and they were forced to close. Interesting. And this article is by Bernice Chan, published 9 August 2023. So obviously they follow the British date system because Hong Kong used to be the colony of the UK, with a sweet aroma like a honey with hints of fruit. The deep caramel-hued whiskey is easy drinking and goes down smoothly. That's good expression. Goes down smoothly. Goes down smoothly. It goes down smoothly. It goes down smoothly. With the hints of fruit. The deep caramel-hued whiskey. Deep caramel-hued whiskey is easy drinking and goes down smoothly. It has the taste and feel of whiskey made from barley, rye, wheat, or corn, but it's actually made from rice and distilled in Canada. The brand behind the booze is Snow Goose, and its rice whiskey is being made in British Columbia by Mineral Ding Yingxiang. Ding Yingxiang. I think Zheng Yingsang, who has lived in Metro Vancouver for 23 years. I think he's maybe Korean Chinese. I'm Korean, right? Certainly I feel affinity to him by the just purely by his name. He only started making whiskey and other alcoholic beverages in 2014 and began selling them 2 years later. So it needs 2 years to hit the market with your new products. Yeah, he looks like a Korean to me. The guy on the right, he looks like I don't know, Chinese, Japanese, but Mr. Mineral Ding Dong on the left, he definitely looks like a Korean to me. Mineral Ding at the Snow Goose Brewery in Canada's British Columbia province, Photo Snow Goose Brewery. Making rice spirits is a family thing. It's a hobby. It's your business, man, says Ding, who is originally from the city of Taizhou in China's Jiangsu province. Jiangsu province, well-to-do province. It's a little bit rich. Jiangsu is the province that encompasses Shanghai, I think. Taizhou. Taizhou means big river or big province. I am studying Chinese, so I can communicate with Mineral Ding Dong very well in Chinese. His mother's side of the family used to run a small business making rice wines and liquors until 1949 when the communists took off China and they were forced to close. After Ding was born in 1963, his mother's family only periodically made alcoholic drinks to give to family and friends. He has now revived the family business across the Pacific Ocean. He offers rice wines, including ones flavored with peach or lychee, that look a bit like makgeolli, the Korean rice wine, but not as cloudy blueberry wine, sherry made from rice, and osmanthus wine, which has just a hint of floral scent. However, his best-selling product so far is rice whiskey, which has gotten a lot of interest. While Scotland and Ireland make the spirit from barley or rye, and the United States from corn, Ding believes that rice is a superior grain for making whiskey. With wheat or barley or rye or corn, the skin or the shell is connected to the core of the grain, so you cannot separate them easily. So you need to mill them, then use a screen to remove the shells. He says, mill them. Screen, use a screen to remove the shells. Use the screen to remove the shells. But with the rice, the grains are totally removed from the shell or the skin of the grain husk. So it makes it more pure and clean. When you ferment it, it is without the shell. But with barley, wheat, and corn, they are fermented with the shell, and the taste is pretty bad and bitter. I agree. Snow Goose's blueberry wine for the Snow Goose Brewery. He said about experimenting with different varieties of rice from various countries. In the end, he chose glutinous short grain rice from California. Glutinous short grain rice. Glutinous short grain rice from California. I don't use rice with aromas with a very strong flavor like jasmine rice. I like the pure aroma of rice itself, he says. I don't use rice with aromas with a very strong flavor like jasmine rice. I like the pure aroma of rice itself, he says. He adds that the water in Vancouver is some of the best in the world, but when it comes to diluting the spirit to lower the alcohol content, he uses distilled water. Most of the whiskey from barley or corn cannot be made as clean and smooth as mine with the rice goose's mineral ding. Mine with the rice, Snow Goose's mineral ding. Another important process is aging the whiskey to get its flavor and color. Ding uses new American oak barrels, so the rice whiskey isn't tainted with residual flavors left behind by other spirits. The alcohol from rice is very pure, so I don't want any liquor like whiskey or rum to affect the flavor, he says. I just want to have the smell, aroma, and taste of my alcohol and the wood, and that's it. Canadian regulations stipulate that whiskey made in the country needs to be aged for a minimum of 3 years, not 2 years, 3 years. Dean keeps his in barrels for an extra 2 years before bottling it, so 5 years, extra 2 years. Dean Wright and a colleague sampled Snow Goose's rice whiskey, photo Snow Goose Brewery. Snow Goose sells two kinds of whiskey, smooth and classic. The former is very easy drinking, it goes down well, while the latter is more complex with a lasting finish. Even though he only started selling rice whiskey in 2022, Ding has received a lot of positive feedback from consumers, over 60% of which are not of Chinese ancestry. Non-Chinese probably need a new style of whiskey, and ours is very pure, very smooth, clean, and settled. The ladies especially prefer the smoother one that isn't as harsh or bitter, Ding says. Most of the whiskey from barley or corn cannot be made as clean and smooth as mine with rice. I know how to control the fermentation to get a smooth alcohol. His confidence stems from his background in microbiology. He studied agricultural chemistry at China's Nanjing Agricultural University in the mid-1990s. Before pursuing a PhD in agronomy, where he focused on forest ecology and silviculture before immigrating to Canada in 2000. He studied agricultural chemistry at China's Nanjing Agricultural University in the mid-1990s. Silviculture. I wonder what the silviculture is. He had planned to go to Toronto after stopping over in Vancouver first, but then he never went further east. Ding found work at the University of British Columbia as a research associate in forestry and eventually attained a master's degree in forest products marketing. From there, he began helping national and provincial forestry associations promote Canadian wood in China, which he continued doing after starting Snow Goose in 2014. He finally quit the forestry sector in 2022 to focus on making rice spirits full-time. Yeah, he looks like a Korean to me. Ding prepares the mash from rice for fermentation. But this is from Jiangsu, Taizhou, Jiangsu. I think he's Korean, but the physique, the facial shape, he looks like a pure Korean. While doing market research, Ding discovered there are no other Canadian or American companies making Chinese-style spirits. He wondered why, considering Chinese immigrants have been coming to North America since the mid-1880s, I wasn't very experienced and thought this was a good opportunity for me, but now I understand why, because this is a business that takes so much time to grow and survive, he says. You don't make any money for many years. Snow Goose is Osmanthus wine. Photo, Snow Goose Brewery, Osmanthus. That's Osmanthus flowers right there. These days, Ding is busy on weekends promoting his products at the farmers markets all over Metro Vancouver, and getting feedback from visitors to his booth, Metro Vancouver. Vancouver is so wide, but Metro Vancouver means real Vancouver, the real city proper, right? The downtown and the surrounding CBDs. Metro Vancouver. Getting feedback from visitors to his booth. I'm still understanding what products sell best. Other than rice whiskey, blueberry wine is also popular. Ding in Lighthouse Park in West Vancouver, photo Snow Goose Brewery. But with the rice whiskey, the rice whiskey has undoubtedly been a steady crowd pleaser. Right? Crowd pleaser. Most people love it. 8 out of 10 like it, and 1 or 2 will say it's interesting, Ding says. Crowd pleaser. People really like it, so I feel lucky. Of course, I will continue to improve it, but right now, it's already a pretty good one. Understand U.S.-China relations well. Bernice Chan is a former SCMP staff writer who is now based in Vancouver, Canada, where she writes compelling stories about people and issues, as well as lifestyle and food. Thanks, Bernice Chan. Your article is not long and is not short. It's of optimal length. Civil culture. Let's look up what the civil culture is, if you may. Silviculture, right? Yeah, silviculture.
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 Silviculture, branch of forestry that studies and handles the development and care of forests, cultivation and growing of forestries. Silviculture. Silviculture.
Silviculture.
Silviculture. Silviculture.
Silviculture.
Silviculture. I didn't know that. So Bernice Chang, Ding Dong. Osmanthus wine. I forgot why the Chinese generation see to make rice whiskey. He wondered why they haven't produced the because this is a business that takes so much time to grow and survive, he says. You don't make any money for many years. Yeah, that's why I am buying lottery tickets. Once I hit the jackpot, I could set up the company to make rice wine. In the meanwhile, Mr. Ding Dong, if you do have a job opening for me, the Korean guy, creative and handsome and strong, creative, independent, introvert slash extrovert, you can hire me. Just contact me, and yeah, let's see how we can be beneficial to each other. Thanks for listening, everybody. Take care and have a wonderful Friday tomorrow.